Good evening, Barbados. Good evening, Caribbean. Good evening to the world. You are watching the Marcia Week Show, and I am coming to you live from Barbados. It is a wonderful, wonderful evening. I trust. Did you have a great Friday? Not Saturday yet. Anybody had a great day today? Yes, yes, yes. Nigel Carrington says good night to all the loyal opposition. I'm looking forward to a great show tonight and stay awake. Lovely. And that's what I want to say. You picked up on what I wanted to say, Nigel, to tell everybody stay vigilant, stay watchful. Keep watching, folks. Keep watching. Keep watching. Mildred Ben, keep watching, Mildred. Keep watching over Barbados. Nat Grant, Bonnie Springer, good night. Lucinda, good evening. Owen Hines, I spent some time, talking to my people tonight because we've been rushing, and not able to call all the names sometime and take some time with you. Owen Hines, I want to thank you for logging on and just being a regular viewer. Thank you, Marva Hunt. Thank you that when I open up my computer, you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you so much. Judy Jilks, I was wondering, where are you? Where are you, Judy Jilks? Good evening. Yes, condolences to the family of Shawnathon Chase. Shawnathon Chase. Yes, oh my goodness. Yes, we have been praying for them. Dalton Spencer. Vihoy, good evening. Good evening, Vihoy. Oh, how are you? We need to chat sometime. Mystic Angel. Hi, Sue. Good evening. Mashio, good evening. CG, good evening. I'm going to tell you a whole story about CG, but we're gonna get CG. I can't believe you had the strength to log on, but I'm going to get to her soon. David Small, Hasbra, good evening. Oh my goodness, Sandra Watkins. Folks, thank you all so much for believing in the mission of the Marcia Week Show, which is to educate, it's to motivate, it is to mobilize, it's to agitate. And that's what we are doing on the Marcia Week Show. We will have, we go from weeks of being educated and then we get agitated and we're out on the streets. So last week, Saturday, we were out in Whole Town, going from Folkestone to the Whole Town Civic Center, and we were there, and we were making noise and making a presence or presence known to the government of this country about the preservation of our land and our heritage. That's what we did last week, Saturday. This week, Saturday, we've had something major that has occurred. And some people say, oh, but why did we take a break from the land issue? We need to. We need to pause. This nation needs to pause. We need to pause, take a pause and look around us. Look at what is happening around us. Guys, when we have a 13-year-old child who was outside playing, that is what the news says. And what everybody says, he was outside. Well, he was watching netball. He was watching netball outside. A young man, and there are young girls playing netball. I can understand. He's watching netball. I spoke with a teacher, a former teacher of his from his primary school, who said he was just by the primary school that evening. He and his friends came by on their bicycles, come to see the teachers, and and so she just can't believe that has happened to him. Went home and then wanted to go to the netball to watch netball, and that's it. Tonight we can hold on to the people that we have at her, we are our children, or our mothers, or or fathers, or husbands. We have them and we hold them a little tighter tonight. We hold each other, Sandra Brewster, a little tighter tonight. Judith and Clark. And so I want to spend time in calling your names. We're like a family now, Cecilia Miller. Yes, and Cecilia, I remember when you lost your son as well. So I know that you understand what this mother is feeling. Yes. Pauline Holder. Hi, Pauline. Oh, from Georgia. Good night. Good night. We need to chat too. We need to chat. Yes. And I don't know what I can say about Pauline's situation, so I'm not going to say much. But let me just say to everybody, Malen is saying a pleasant good night. He says Mr. Alvin Toppin brought him water today. Thanks, sir. Oh, and he's locked on. That's good. Someone is saying that the citizens need to have a day of prayer and fasting and get back to God. What I call it, because everybody is not churched. So I say pause. We need a time to pause. We need to pause for a moment. A 13-year-old watching a netball game was shot down and killed. 2 shots in his chest and 1 in his head. And we think we should just keep going. We think that we should keep going. Think about it. So tomorrow, the solemn walk is March 29th at 10 a.m. Kendall Hill gas station is where we start from. Now, I think it is so important that we pause, people. Gonna ask you to like and to share tonight. Like and share. We have a very powerful program lined up for you. Mrs. Rose Corbin is going to be here with us, and then we have some young men who are in the music industry. One who is a videographer. He was on before, Daniel Boyce. He's a videographer and a filmmaker. He's going to be on to speak about what is happening in Barbados, what he perceives is going on. And then there's an influencer, Brandon Blackman. He's called the People's Bouncer, and he's going to be on as well tonight. And we have the phone lines are going to be open for those who might have known the Shawnathon and want to give a tribute to him. So we're going to have the phone lines open. But at this time, guys, you know what we do. At this time. We are going to play the national anthem of Barbados. Yes, 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 yes. This is what we rally under. This is it. This is it. And tomorrow, we are going to remember. We are going to acknowledge that something really, really major has happened to our wonderful Barbados. Something has happened, and someone says, Marcia, we need to hold the authorities. We need to hold the government accountable. I want to say that there's a time and a place for everything. There is a time and a place for everything. There is a time and a place for everything. And it is my belief, you might see it very differently than I do, and that's okay. I just believe that we need to pause and take in this moment. The support and the cause and the coming together that I'm seeing that is happening in Barbados since this has occurred is just amazing. It's really amazing. I just want to, if you've just joined me, welcome again to the Marcia Week Show. And I want to read for you what was sent to the media or press release, just so that you understand exactly what tomorrow is about. Barbados unites in prayer. Solemn walk number 4 to address rising gun violence. Barbados is bleeding. Our streets, once places of laughter, unity, and culture, have become battlegrounds. Gunshots echo where children should be playing. Families are being shattered. Mothers are left grieving. And too many of our young men are being buried far too soon. This is not just a crime issue, it is a national emergency. While the implementation of correct policies and legislation plays a crucial role in addressing crime and gun violence, this crisis goes beyond party politics. It is about life and death. It is about reclaiming our country before we lose an entire generation to violence, fear, and hopelessness. The time to act is now. In response, concerned citizens, faith leaders, and community advocates are coming together for Solemn Walk number 4, a peaceful and prayerful initiative to honor the life of Shawnathon Chase, support the Silver Hill community, and intercede for the nation of Barbados. The silent walk of prayer will take place tomorrow, Saturday, March 29th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We're beginning at Kendall Hill gas station and will conclude at the Silver Hill Hard Court. Unlike traditional demonstration, this event will have no speeches or performances, only prayers for healing, peace, and change. It is a call for unity, reflection, and divine intervention in the fight against violence. We urge all Barbadians, regardless of political affiliation, faith, or background, to stand together in solidarity. Your presence tomorrow, Barbados, will send a powerful message that Barbados is united in its call for peace and justice. Your presence tomorrow, every single one of you, your presence will send a powerful message that Barbados is united in its call for peace and justice. That is what tomorrow is all about. That is what tomorrow is all about, folks. A call of unity. And on that note, I just want to give shout outs tonight to, first, I want to thank Caswell Franklin. I saw him today, Mr. Franklin. I listen. We were by him. CG and I were by Mr. Franklin today, and we had a fantastic time there at Unity, and he had me laughing so much. He's following what's going on, and doing well, recovering very well. And he told CG and I, he wants you guys to know he's coming back. But he's recovering well. And I'm laughing at some of the jokes he was giving. And I just want you to know that there are lots of things that you see us reveal on the show. It fell off the truck it fell off a truck that was close to him. All right. So Mr. Franklin is very, very much connected. And I want to thank him today, thank him for his contribution to the solemn walk tomorrow. All of the placards, those are placards that came from him that you're going to have tomorrow. And we were able to use his facility today as a workspace. And I want to thank Unity Workers Union, and to thank our granddad of activism. We call him the granddad of activism, right? CG saying, agreeing, he had us cracking up. I can't tell you all the jokes on here. He needs to come on himself and give us the jokes. And he was spilling a lot of tea. So we just wait. When this is over, come Sunday, Monday, we got tea to spill, right? Mr. Franklin was giving it all to us today. Yeah. But I want to just publicly thank Mr. Franklin for accommodating us today. And he wants to assure you that he's well. I know some people, you're spreading all kinds of things, and he's fine. He is well. And yes, he's going to come back to us. I want to thank CG, and we're just going to call her CG on here. That's her comment there. CG met me today at Lorry Dash, and we were able to buy up all the supplies, etc. And we headed down to Unity Workers Union. And we were there. I don't know what time we left there. Is it after 5? Trying to rush back to do the show tonight. And CG was there doing up all of the the remembrance placards is what we're calling them, with the names of everybody who, all of the homicides, all those who were killed during last year and the first part of this year. Well, up till now, there were 12 already for this year. And so, it's a sad situation just to sit there and see how many names and how many placards between last year and March is just ending here now. Just to see how many persons, 50 or 51 last year, and then 12. When we started, we didn't have that many placards. And it just hurts because you are writing a name on and decorating something, but it means it is somebody's life. It is somebody's gone from a family. So we're going to have those with us tomorrow. And we did not want to use the Barbados flags that we had last week, because we did not want it to be seen that it's the same kind of thing. And so when we met, our small team met last night via Zoom, it was suggested that we use some white flags. So we were able to get some made, and I was there. I still have the glue on my hands. CG, I didn't get it off yet. But the glue on my hand, and we were there working. Because this thing is about work. This is not about, nobody here is any celebrity. We working, right? We working, we're doing, everybody carrying out the part that they have to play. And CG and I were there. It's unfortunate we didn't get any help. I just dropped it off at another friend's house and said, can you work throughout the night? We're trying to get 200, but we only got, I think, about 70 or so, CG. I don't know, of the little white flag. So tomorrow we're going to have as many as we could complete. And on that note, I want to thank the hotel that gave us some white sheets. So we have white. Listen, everything donated. We have some white sheets that we cut up, and we want to thank Lori Dash. Lori Dash gave us a discount this morning on the dowels that we got. So we want to spend time, because we are pausing Barbados. All of us, we're pausing. We are forgetting. It doesn't matter what race we are, what part, whether we're uptown, downtown, or whatever we call it. On the heights or the terraces, everybody. Right now, we are pausing and we are recognizing that something very terrible has happened, and it has been happening in Barbados. And we are spending some time to let and mourn. I've had so many calls from children, from parents who said their children want to be there because they knew this young man, whether they used to do wheelie on the bicycle with him, etc. So we want to pause. I want to thank Western Wholesale, who gave us 100 bottles of water. And Kevin, all I can say is Kevin, because you can't give out everybody's name, right? Kevin, who gave another 120 bottles of water. And I want to thank M Graphics. M Graphics, they created a huge banner. And I'm hoping to show you the banner before the night is up. It's a huge banner, 6x3 banner that will go at the front. And two persons, probably two of his friends, will carry it at the front with Shawnathon's picture on it. And so want to thank them. We want to thank Don Leacock, and Bim. Oh my goodness, Bim, big up Bim. I think, did I have that right? I feel I'm saying it wrong, Don. But Don Leacock has been very, very helpful. Very helpful. He was calling me all today. He got donations, of water, etc. Don, big up yourself wherever you are. As a young man, you are stepping up, and that's awesome. And his charity is part of helping as well. I want to, the first time ever, I spoke with Dunksman. I always saw his stuff, didn't know who he was, and I was at home yesterday morning and got a call. Well, someone first said they saw Dunksman was putting out the poster. I said, really? And because, as you know, I'm operating on just the Marcia Week show page. I don't have my personal page. I still didn't get those things back as yet. But I got up, and lo and behold, on Thursday morning, I heard that Dunksman was promoting the walk, the solemn walk, and we were coming together in unity. And so I thought that was wonderful. So I thanked him. And he said he was going to put some more information out there. So Dunksman, wherever you are, I just want to say on behalf of Barbados, that Barbados thanks you for what you're doing, because this is our pause. This is where we come together, regardless of where we are, what part of the aisle that we're on. There is a mother and a father and a brother and a sister who has lost a 13-year-old innocent young man. It's time to pause. It's time to pause. And that's what this man, Dunksman, has done. I also want to say that I got a call this morning from Stephanie Chase of Chase Files, and who I had not spoken to in years. So it was good to hear her this morning. And I want to thank her for also promoting it as well, and inviting. I saw a post where she was inviting school children to be part of it, which is in line with what we've done. We've written to all the secondary schools We've written to them to invite their their students to come down and to be part of it, you see, so that they can express themselves. So I want to thank Chase Files for promoting the entire initiative. This is all of Barbados, and you know how I am. I am going to. We've got to open our arms and we receive everybody, and so I think that a thank you is in order. Yeah, and yes, yes, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get that to that. Do that. Going to get to that. Let me just thank the churches across Barbados that have called, and I know there's a Seventh-day Adventist church tomorrow that's actually closing down their church to come to join. That's a church in Silver Hill where this occurred, and they would have known this young man. I tell you, this is why we've got to pause. We've got to pause, Barbados. And of course, I want to thank the school that I run, Praise Academy. I want to thank you for your support as well. Tomorrow, just some announcements, and if I've left off anybody, and of course, you, everybody who has been on and you've been sharing, I want to thank you. Thank you very, very much for what you've done, all the donations that you've given, so that we can get what we need done. Thank you so very much. Those are the Sports Council, the police, Commission of Police. Thank you so much for being so gracious. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. This is the time where, as I said, we come together. I want to just announce that while we are going to congregate in at the Kendall Hill gas station, there's no parking in there for us. Okay, everybody, included myself. So we have to park, come early, and find a side street to park. Okay, so please pass this information on. So there is no parking in the gas station. Can you imagine if we all parked in the gas station? We have no idea of how many persons are going to come. So we're kindly asking you to not park in the gas station. We at the moment we really just have 3 chaperones. We need at least 10. So we are asking you if you can be a chaperone tomorrow to help us, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we are going to kindly ask you to arrive tomorrow by 8:30. If you want to assist us on the road to keep order, to arrive by 8:30. Remember that we are wearing white. So Dudas, we are wearing white tomorrow. We're wearing white tomorrow. We're wearing white. Please spread the word that we're wearing white tomorrow. Okay? White is the wear. Correct. White is the wear tomorrow. Important, if you take medication, that you take your medication ahead of time. Make sure you have your good breakfast. All right. And you can walk with your water, but we do have water available. There is another company that is going to be have donated their vehicle to have the water and the coolers and so on. So we'll have a truck with just water. All right. And I have to give you the name of that company as the night goes on, because I want to make mention of them. All right. And we are also looking for at least one more nurse, so that we're on the road in case anybody falls ill, that we will have our first aid, etc., in place. All right. So if you are a nurse and you're off tomorrow and want to donate some of your time, we kindly ask you to assist. Okay. Please, kindly. Thank you so very, very much. Right. Somebody says yes. Opposite Popular, the left-hand side, that road can be used as a parking lot. It's long and straight. So opposite Popular, yes. When we spoke with this evening with the gas station, they were saying that you could get some parking there as well. All right. So, yes. Okay. Thank you. Adriana said that they will assist in giving out water. All right. Yes. I don't know if it's going to be too late to contact the Red Cross at this point. But thanks for the suggestion. There is a vehicle that will be provided if you, for those seniors among us, if you have walked and you're a bit tired, then, or you have any, aches and pains, we have for seniors. Okay. Not for people who say they don't like walking, just seniors. All right. And I see Mrs. Corbin is there. I don't know if she's ready, but if you have any questions about tomorrow, in terms of administration for tomorrow. Now, I want to say this as I wait on Mrs. Corbin, that we've announced that that we will not be having any speeches. Okay. When we start tomorrow, we're going to be having people come up to the microphone to pray, and we'll have music and prayer and music, and that's how we will go down the road. Okay, when we start the procession. However, I have received messages from young people through Don, through young people from Lester Vaughan School, where where Shawnathon was a student, and some of them would like to come to share their thoughts and to share a poem, etc. And so I said Lester Vaughan, I meant Lodge School, the Lodge School, the Lodge School, the Lodge School. I made a mistake there. The Lodge School. My apologies. The Lodge School. There are students who've reached out, parents who've reached out. Yes, thank you, Trevor. And they have said that their children would just like to say something. And I believe that for those in those situations, yes, for the young people, for the children, they want to express themselves. There's a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. Okay, so we want to acknowledge that, but we're not going to have any preaching, and we're not going to have anybody giving any speeches on behalf of any organizations or anything of the sort. Okay, so please just let's cooperate tomorrow. If you take the microphone to pray, just pray. All right. It is important that we keep it focused and not use it to do anything else. All right, please. I'm still waiting. Oh, Vihoy, that's a great idea. I didn't think of that, Vihoy. A counselor. I know we have a counselor who watches every night from St. Philip. You know who you are, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, are you attending? That's a great idea. None of us, we met and we didn't think about it. You see what I mean? We work together as a team, and we really, really do. I really consider us a team. Yes, I'm waiting on Mrs. Corbin. Mrs. Corbin, let me know if you're ready, please, by turning on your camera. That's how I will know. Oh, okay. So she's right there. Yes. Thank you. If you're a counselor, please let me know. Please let me know if you're a counselor and you are going to be able to. I think you're so right. We're going to need that tomorrow. Last thing I'll say before Mrs. Corbin comes is that we, through the Shawnathon's mom, we've reached out to the family through his mom, and we have officially invited them to the event tomorrow. Please be praying for them. Please be praying for them. Yes? Yes. Okay. And we need a trained and certified counselors. Trained and certified counselors. All right. Okay. Oh, Mrs. Corbin, good evening. How are you today? Hello? Can't hear? Not hearing. Well, we organize. for Mrs. Corbin, I'm going to ask everybody to like and share. Like and share. Like and share. If you are a licensed counselor, you are trained counselor, please give me a call. Please give me a call. Please, important, okay? I want to say, as we wait on Mrs. Corbin, if you are from a church or your prayer, you're into praying intercession, we ask you to come early. Are you an intercessor? You're what you call yourself, probably a prayer warrior. You like to pray. Come early and just create a little circle right there while we are setting up, and just pray. Right? Tomorrow is a day of prayer. Tomorrow is a day when we send up, we speak vertically. Yeah. And so you're welcome. Yeah, so the physically disabled, they could use the transportation that we have. Yes, a social worker can also work. Again, trained people. Trained people. Folks, can you share? Have you shared? Have you liked? Have you subscribed? We're waiting on Behoy. Is there anything else that you guys let's have our little talk tonight before Mrs. Corbin comes back in? Anything else that you think we need to remember? Anything else that we haven't thought about? To let you know that we have written all of the 29 persons, the MPs, everybody in Parliament, all the senators. We've written the Prime Minister. We have written, all the secondary schools, the principals, inviting them out, and we've sent, the churches, etc. So just so you know what we have done so far. Yes, thank you, Judith. Judith said she's liked and shared. So we have Mrs. Corbin here. Mrs. Corbin, good night. We're having the same problem. Ah, good night, Sandra Pierce. I think something now. Good night.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Here now.
Yes, keep speaking. Keep speaking.
You can't hear now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, please. My technical person, like your Dave, came to my rescue.
I know.
What would we do without these men in our lives?
I tell
Yes,
you, thank you, Mr. Corbin. Thank you. So you are about to give us Education Matters part 2.
Yes, please. And it is an open letter. Just let me quickly say good night to our audience. And thank you, Marcia, for the opportunity. Good night, loyal sons and daughters, all firm craftsmen of her faith. And I would have sent to you and the Word document from which I'll be reading. I believe Dave has it ready to post. So I will just follow that script. And here is the letter. It is dated 28th of March 2025. Dear Senator Blackmun, Re-Education Matters, an open letter. I am inclined to greet you as my grandmother, mother, and aunt would have greeted me when they corresponded with me as a student in Manchester between 1981 and 1984. And they would say, Marcy, you're familiar with this kind of greeting. Dear sir, How are you? I hope that the reaches of this letter finds you in good health and spirit as I am. I sincerely hope the same for you as I write, given the roles and tasks which have been thrust upon you and for which we dare to say may have come upon you suddenly and for which you may have been unprepared. We could empathize with you, commiserate with you at being asked at short notice to relinquish the ministerial position of Minister of Economic Affairs and Investments in the Prime Minister's office. You may recall, as we do, that your appointment there, given your auspicious um, block, yes, auspicious background as a former high-level ambassador, was heralded as critical and necessary to boost the economy of Barbados through attracting foreign investment and investors. But that is not my concern here as to how that portfolio was managed by you and the successes there under your tenure. My concern primarily in this correspondence, as the caption denotes, is on matters pertaining to education. However, we look briefly at the events that have led to your assuming your present ministerial position. Of significance is the reshuffling due to the resignation of MP Marshall Kendall from her position as Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology. As a cabinet minister colleague, you may recall that Ms. Kendall gave her reason for stepping down as when principles do not align, a minister has a duty to resign so the will and work of the government can be done. I have reached such a point. In addition, there was the resignation of Crime Prevention Minister Corey Lane. These foregoing and sudden resignations, as the Prime Minister would have us to believe, and maybe there's more not revealed publicly, have brought you to this juncture, which prompts this open letter to you. You have now taken over from your predecessor, Ms. Kim McConney, who led, or we are made to believe that she did, the then Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, METVT. However, her track record, no pun intended, given that she was an outstanding scholarship winner athlete at the helm, leave us who care about education in our nation wondering what indeed was her track record there. Her reward for bungling up that ministry and leaving it in a mess for you with starts and not finishing projects was to replace you in this hasty reshuffling as the now Minister of Economic Affairs and Investment in the Prime Minister's office. How many times were there calls for her to resign or to be fired? Despite the calls from numerous individual as well as collective voices, your leader, the Prime Minister, ignored and did nothing, which gave the goodly lady the leg up and confidence to inform the Barbadian public that she won't be resigning. C'est la vie, as the French would say. To be honest, Minister Senator Blackman, I would like to say that you have the proverbial big boots to fill. As you know, the phrase big boots or big shoes to fill is an idiom that means that you're stepping into a position or situation where the previous person was very successful or well liked, and you are expected to perform at a similar level. What kind of boots have been left by your predecessor for you to fill? Let us look at some outstanding matters as it relates to education yet to be implemented or completed. Let us go back to the 2018 manifesto with which your administration won the general election with 30 to 0 seats. That manifesto, the BLP 2018 manifesto, captioned Building the Best Barbados Together, was a two-part agenda. One, our urgent agenda mission, critical policies and actions to occur simultaneously with part two, transformational five-year agenda concerned with policy formulation and actions to implement our urgent agenda mission critical first 6 months. Marcia, you might have heard a little chuckle. I am still trying to work out what is that all about in theory and in practice. Lot of words. With regard to education, started at number 14 in the manifesto, the following was given. Empowering young people, we must and will preserve for future generations and empower them to have the best quality of life our country can give them. My question, how has this been achieved, sir? Second, another one, an immediate plan of action to end the current epidemic of violence in schools. Address violence and bullying among school children by placing more guidance counselors and social workers and starting anger management and conflict resolution classes in schools by September 2018, the same year of the election. My question, what is the status on this? Next, engage civil society and faith-based organizations in support school programs targeting at reducing conflict, bullying, and indiscipline, equipping students to deal with anger and conflict in nonviolent ways, and to reduce the incidence of violence in schools. What is the status on this? Next, ensure reliable and timely school bus service from September 2018. What is the status of this? And I interject here with regard to this, Mr. Blackman, on matters relating to the recent budget, your counterpart, Deputy Prime Minister Sancho Bradshaw, who holds ministerial responsibility for transport and works, informed the lower house that her ministry is considering and are proposing staggered school hours for students to ease public transport issues during school time. Are you aware of this? And how will this be done? And when will we be informed? Next, placing safety officers on buses and at places where students and young people congregate in large number. What is the status on this? And the manifesto continues. This manifesto is constructed on the fundamental belief that all of our children are precious, a gift to their parents, their families, and to our nation. This manifesto speaks to ensuring appropriate education and training for our children to live happy, fulfilling lives, and our young people to be world-class citizens, grounded in Barbadian values, using their skills to showcase what Barbados has to offer, build a Barbados brand, support themselves, and benefit our country. Minister Shad Blackman, we have heard this vocalized ad nauseum from your predecessor and the mouthpieces who know the rhetorical narrative as above. We want to know specifically how will this be translated into measurable, sustainable outcomes without the hasty tampering of what exists and works in education. In that manifesto, it was said that secondary schools will become centers of excellence for both traditional disciplines, including the arts and sciences and technical and creative disciplines. This is intended to give students genuine and beneficial choices and wider career options and remove any sense of failure attached to pursuing a non academic path. What is happening with this, sir? And continuing, at the core of our development model will our commitment to and our reform of Barbados's education and training. While we have embarked on reforms in the past, reform in education is a generational project and cannot be started and stopped at will. As we, the public, reflect on the proposed education reform launched in 2023, all we have seen so far to date is the very start and stop that your manifesto of 2018 ambitiously declared would not happen. Do you remember this launch, Minister? Could we go on? In accounting for her stewardship during the recently concluded response to the 2025 budget, your predecessor, Ms. Kim McConney, spent about 12 minutes to highlight her accomplishment for 7 years. These have been noted as the much touted establishment of the Teaching Commission, for which she said foundational work has been done. 7 years. It took 7 years to do the foundational work. The Master Teachers Initiative, again, she says the process has begun. 7 years. The Education Act, not done. Can you, Minister Blackman, speak to this and say how the ministry under you will proceed? Next one. Your predecessor spoke about the process to fix the pop-down school facilities, to make them climate resilient, water smart facilities, and the type of environment that can engage the children in collaborative learning and work. Sir, you have only just assumed duties, and you have a lot of pop-down schools to deal with. St. Michael's School was closed at short notice for a week recently due to environment issues, resuming face-to-face classes on Monday, March 24, 2025. Another pop-down school, she called it that, Gordon Walters Primary School, was closed Wednesday, the 20th of March, 2025, due to severe rodent infestation, and there are many pop-down schools around the place. When responding to the leader of the opposition on the matter of curriculum reform, your predecessor mentioned that the process of curriculum review had begun with engaging a consultant, this time a Barbadian consultancy firm. Mr. Blackman, Minister Blackman, is this needed? More money given away to consult on what the teachers know already? What about the many free and excellent suggestions offered at the held town hall meetings and in the media on curriculum reform? Don't they have any worth and value? Was it a waste of time? Were my own several contributions at these meetings of no worth? Were the many diverse, creative, and innovative ideas discarded? Were these various public engagements a waste of time and taxpayers' money, with the many flashy PR props and persons, some who didn't know diddly squat about educational matters? My humble suggestion to you, sir, is to go back to the transcripts and extrapolate the relevant information, deconstruct it, synthesize it, and represent it to the public for further discussion and consideration for the way forward. Sir, waste of money at every turn and seeing nothing for it. Finally, what is the status of the National Task Force on Literacy Education, which was launched in November 2024 with much hype, as was the launch of Reimagining Education? On this note, I want to say that it is more than the initiative entitled We Gathering. Come long home, but bring a book, which we are told is part of government's nation building efforts through the Division of Culture in collaboration with the National Task Force on Literacy Education and the National Transformation Initiative, NTI. It sounds good. The initiative must be lauded, but my question is, when they get the book, can they read it on their own? There's much more that I can share with you in this open letter, Mr. Blackman, but I will pause here and say that I wish I had heard something more substantial from you in your maiden speech in the upper house, in your contribution on the 2025 budget as the newly appointed Minister of Educational Transformation, whatever that means. But we leave that for another occasion. But since I've raised it, it would be good if you would share with the public, without all the fluff or repetitive jargon, what this Ministry of Education Transformation is all about. You set no real targets for education. You did not seem to have had a good handover, and your presentation sounded as if you were winging your way through on the way forward for education. Let us know what are your measurable, attainable short term to medium term goals for education, from nursery through primary to secondary. We just want to know where and how education is going. Humbly written, Rosaline Corbin, a teacher and educator at heart. And P.S. I'm well aware that if one does not sing from the sound sheet of this administration, that there is a proclivity to use the privilege of the parliament to hit back at those opinions that differ and may seem to challenge and do not fit the government's. Your PM asks for people's engagement. This is my contribution. Thank you. I wish you all the best. And may I add, Marcia, it ain't done yet. There's more to come. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow. I mean, lots of research went into this, Rose, but let me not talk out your time. Continue. I know you have a lot more to say in your 10 minutes because you had some challenges. So I've given you until 8:10. So continue, Mrs. Corbin.
I'm through. I had timed it. I had timed it. But again, Marcia, there's so much more. Now, for example, when I say that there was no substantial, nothing, no meat on what he presented, I heard things like helping children to, when they speak, look you in the eye. We do that, don't we? In the classroom, in the literacy classes that we're conducting, in your own academy, you do that, don't you?
Yes.
Parents would say, look at me when you're talking. We tend to boost confidence. And he talked about that to have world-class citizens, we must have children who look people in the eye. And he then also talked about he wants every classroom in Barbados to have um, displayed in the classroom. I think all things are possible.
Mm.
But yes, that is good. That's a good mantra. But my thing is, will it be replacing our motto, pride and industry? Will children now be repeating that mantra for this new world order, for becoming a global brand, and
Yes.
forgetting our pride and industry, as well as our pledge? I pledge allegiance to my country, Barbados, and to my flag, to uphold and defend their honor by my living, to do credit to my nation wherever I go. I'm not hearing that. I didn't hear the emphasis or on having these pillars
Yes.
from 1966, from independence up until now. But I'm here, you're going to spend money now to have that put over all the hundreds of classrooms in the for the children to repeat every day. And Marcia, I continue to hear uh, things that not speak to he's heard it already.
Yes.
He's heard it already. So let me just run with it. This is not diplomacy anymore. This is not in those positions, Minister Blackman, that you would have handled ably as an ambassador.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is the rough and tumble of the nation's education, which lacked. And they talk about the lost decade, Marcia, under the DLP. I do not I keep saying, I voted for both D at times and B at times.
Okay.
And in 2018, I ran for St. Philip North under Solutions Barbados. And subsequently, I voted not for the BLP because I could not do it given the grandstanding and how many they had. And the thing is that they talk about the lost decade under the DLP, but we lost 7 to 8 years under Kim McConney.
Mm.
And that aggravates me. Under Kim McConney, fumbling, mistakes, the pop down. I'm quoting her. The schools pop down and the pop down school environment. When we asked for a grace period, the former DLP senator asked several times. I asked on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miss Dujon asked. I think the other lady, Paula Moore, I'm not too sure. But individually, we asked, give the children a reprieve for the time lost under COVID, where they did not have the devices.
You
Where
mean
some
for common entrance?
for common entrance.
Yes, yes. And
Please,
Senator Tricia Watson, to be fair to her, she was asking for that as
she
well.
begged. We
Yes.
begged. I use your platform, Marcia, to beg and present a case.
Former Senator Tricia Watson, sorry.
They did not listen, Marcia. Education has been tampered with, and they continue to tamper and waste money, and everything is a PR strategy. Well, I know that their people listen, maybe record. And this message is open and transparent. and factual ten- and tender to the new minister. And my track record stands. In terms of the literacy, haven't we had success stories in the short time with limited resources?
Mm.
But you are seeing when you're coming home for the gathering, bring along a book. We are talking, and the people can't read or can't read. And I'm not knocking the task force, because on the task force are my colleagues, professional and otherwise. I'm
Yes.
not knocking, and somebody out there will say, oh, she jealous because she on it. Duh, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I have my grade card to show that I produce with great results when it comes to the teaching of English and literacy skills. So I'm not jealous, but I'm asking what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you're preparing our students, Marcia, for global brand. And some of them can't even fill out the passport form.
Mm-hmm. You're
Some
not
of
there.
them can't go online and maneuver the online the website to
Mm-hmm.
fill out their forms. But you're still preparing them to be global citizens. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get back to basics. And right now, I have other suggestions going forward. As I said, look, collate all of that stuff that came so freely
Mm-hmm.
and passionately, and well prepared theses that people brought, and expositions that they brought to the town hall meetings. And then we had a proliferation of well written articles by persons in education, and retired persons and other interested persons. There's a lot of information out there. Why not get a consultant to go back to the same teachers to ask them about education reform? Was that process not done before? And that was one of the exulting, triumphant exits from Miss McConney. Oh, we are
Correct.
starting the process, and we have a consultant, and it is Barbadian, you know. I, I,
Mm.
I, I, I I do not stand for that grandstanding. And so I do hope that Mr. Chad Blackman would do like his colleague, when Kirk the Turk was responding. He told the leader of opposition he cannot tell him how to start his he basically was saying he does not need to be instructed on what to do in the new portfolio that was handed to him. And he said, and I admired him, he said, I will take my time. I will
Mm.
take my time, and I will study the new portfolio, and will that will guide the way forward. I am telling Mr. Blackman, open mouth story. Sorry, not Mr. Blackman, Minister Blackman, Senator Blackman, story, open mouth debate, and say story
Courage
about,
follows.
make sure that it's a good story and
Yes.
not the rhetoric that we've been hearing. And
Yes.
don't be it like a bull in the china shop, mashing up and licking down all the china, the valuable china. Take your time and be advised. We
Well,
don't want a lost period again under you in education. Thank you, Marcia, very much.
Wow, this is excellent, Mrs. Corbin. And I was hoping, well, I mean, we didn't have the time. I mean, the letter is a long letter, but it's important that it's long. And somebody here wrote and says that your letter is like a report card for the ministry, and she's giving them FFF. Their failure has been fast and furious. But I'm saying I really mean that. I was just enthralled by the detail of this, and where you went back and looked at the manifesto and then compared with what is happening. And this is one for that we need to pull out and to have on the site. Thank you so much, Mrs.
I
Corbin.
thank
And
you, Marcia.
yes, and I hope that you're able to come back on at about 9 o'clock. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, please. Thank
Great
you.
job. Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Good night. Thank you. Well, folks, I tell you, that was like a good plate of food, wasn't it? Nice plate of food with some good soup, with some pigtail and some dumpling and some what you put in your soup. This is some good food, good cooking food. But you know what, guys? What we want to do, we're going to continue to do tonight as a nation. As a nation, while we continue to look at issues, tonight we want to look at what occurred on Tuesday. It's not even a week yet. Tuesday, 13-year-old Shawnathon Chase was gunned down. My question to Barbadians tonight: what is the message to Barbados? What is this saying to us? I've been talking about us taking a pause. Yes, we on the show we are very, very, very vigilant as to what's happening in the country, etc. I think that it's just my view. Doesn't have to be your view, but it's my view that we need to pause. We need to just take a look at ourselves. Marcia looks at Marcia. Look at our homes. Look at our communities. Look around us. There is going to be that time, as I said in my in the newsletter, the news piece that we wrote, the press release, I'm sorry, that I wrote, that you know what? We know that there are policies that need to be changed. And we know that we need legislation. We need all of that. But I want us to begin to reflect on us, on everybody. What is the message to Barbados? What is the message to me as a mom, as a dad, as a school teacher, as a guardian, as an auntie, as an uncle? What is this saying to us in this moment? And I have with me here Mr. Alex Watson. Good night, Mr. Watson.
Hi, good night, Miss Weeks. How are you?
Good night, sir. Good night. And you have joined us tonight. And I want to just let the people, let the audience know who you are.
Yes,
So
please. No.
yes, Mr. Watson is a parent to Sienna Ford, and Sienna Ford is a student of the Lodge School.
Yes,
And
please.
and right, goes to the same school as Shawnathon, and would have known him. And so as we spoke today, and you're one of those that decided to donate some water, etc. And just being there, your call this evening was very encouraging, if I may say. I know you're in
Thanks.
your car and you're trying to
Yeah.
settle. Yes, but I want to get an idea from you of what talk to me about your daughter, and if you have any idea of how the children are who are associated with Shawnathon.
Yes, please. First, let me say good night to everybody, all the listeners. I'd like to take this time out to wish condolences to the family, and everyone, involved, the bereaved, the school, the teachers, Shawnathon's friends, anyone that was associated with him, um, you know, that would have been touched by this incident. My daughter, Sienna, yeah, she goes to school with Shawnathon. Um, from what she is telling me, the kids are some are trying to hold it together, but they're young, so it's not something that they're used to, and they should not be used to it. It's not something that should be happening, and it is a very frightening experience, for them. As I saw in the news, the some of the kids at the school were very overcome with grief and emotion when they visited the school. So I would imagine that they're not doing so good. And
Mm-hmm.
his friends, his close friends, I know. My daughter was saying that he has a very close friend named Shamali. That's his best friend. He's trying to hold in there, but despite everything that has happened and these circumstances, it's not easy for them. They're young and they should not have to see these things happening. They should not have to witness this and have to go through this here at such a very young age. And that's where the problem is. That's where the problem lies.
Yes. Yes, yes. Let me just bring in here. I see Daniel, and Daniel can just let me know. Give me a hands up if he's ready. Let me bring Daniel in the studio here this evening, and I will remind our guest that Daniel is a videographer. He's a filmmaker, and oh, I'm hearing a feedback there,
Oh, really?
Daniel.
Hold on. Still? You still hearing feedback? I don't know why.
I see somebody said they can't watch the show no more. I understand. I'm not sure what the reason is. If this is triggering for a lot of people, my apologies, but we have to face it, and we have to face what has happened. I know that it is a sad thing. It's very, very sad, but we've got to face it, right? Okay. So let me Daniel, are we good night, Daniel. How are we doing?
Hey, good night. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, doing great. If you could turn up your volume a little bit for us,
Sure. Is that any better?
a little bit more.
How about now?
Yes, 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 and yes,
Perfect.
yeah, yeah. It's good to see you again,
It's
Daniel.
good to see you
And
too.
yes, and when we spoke at that time, we were talking about the Vibes Cartel show coming, and looking at um possible impact or no impact on the community, on the nation,
Hmm.
on our young people, etc. But we've just had this happen a couple of days ago. A 13-year-old young man watching the girls play netball. You know how it is. I was talking to Mr. Franklin today, and he said, he used to love to watch the girls play netball for obvious reasons, he said. But so he went to watch the girls play netball, and in doing so, he was shot and
Hmm.
killed. It's right here in Barbados.
Yeah.
This is what has happened, Daniel. What is this really saying to us? What's the message? This has occurred. What is the message for Barbados, do you think, Daniel?
I think it's time to face the fact that we have a problem on our hands. And we need to do we need to take action.
Mm-hmm.
I may not necessarily know what that action is. But I think we've kind of just let it go on for too long. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I think about 2 days ago. And I was saying that, we've all had a past. We've grown up in certain. Well, I was talking to Brandon actually, who's just
Right.
joined.
I see Brandon there, Brandon Blackman. I'm
Yeah.
going to introduce him soon. Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying that most of us men, like, we unfortunately we know someone who may have a firearm, whether that's legal or illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to get on social media and say, rest in peace, thoughts and prayers, etc., etc. But beyond that, what are we actually doing to impact our society and try to make a change? Us as people. But then on a governmental side of things, when are we going to be ready to have the conversation? And I said this last time I came on. We don't manufacture guns here. They must be getting here some way. I don't see any of the people that I see on the block or so on and so forth. I don't see them at the ports. So we can't just put the blame on them. We really need to look at how these weapons are getting here. How are you for having access to these weapons? And see if we can, have an honest conversation and do something to really limit the gun crime that's going on.
Mm-hmm. So, in a nutshell, you believe that this is saying to us that it's time to take real action.
Real action. It can't just be, a post on Facebook, a post on Instagram. That's it. We need to have honest conversations, and that needs to be. We can't just blame the members of society. We have to, look at the persons that govern our society as well, and have an honest conversation. How are these weapons getting here?
And that's your main thing, is the source of you believe is the source of the weapons. Let me get to welcome Brendan, welcome Brandon Blackman to the Marcia Week show. And it's a real pleasure. I want to thank Theory Gittens for introducing me to you guys and putting this together. Brendan, you have, I'm looking at your Instagram page here, the People's Bouncer. Everybody go and check him out on Instagram, the People's Bouncer. And I'm here looking at you're an influencer, right? Instagram influencer, etc. You look like a bouncer too.
Yeah, I used to do security.
Used to do security. Oh my Lord.
That's where the name came from.
That's where the name came from, the People's Bouncer. Right. But I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Sure.
That I asked Brandon. I mean that I asked Daniel. Seriously, what is this saying to us as Barbadians? A 13-year-old goes to watch. Remember when you were 13, Brandon?
Absolutely.
And goes to watch a netball game to look at the girls, probably. I don't know, right? Having fun as a young person. And was shot 3 shots, 1 in his head, 2 in his chest. Seriously, what is that saying to us as a country?
Oh, first of all, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Marcia. Glad to be here. I see some familiar faces. My brother, how are you doing? All right, good. So honestly, it's a sad time. It's a sad time on the island. To lose such a young life to something so tragic is heart-wrenching for anyone that hears the story. I share a similar opinion to Daniel, where I believe that we have to go a bit deeper and we have to look at the source, right? Because ultimately, I don't know about you guys, but I've been listening to music like similar to Vibes Cartel and a number of artists, and I've never once been drawn to perform such violent acts, right? And I think that along with tackling the source, we need to put things in place to sever the mentality that just because you consume this content that you have to pursue a life similar to the content, because there's simply, because again, there are tons of movies online that involve like a number of violent scenes and incorporating like different things just to make an action scene, right? But that doesn't mean that we have to incorporate it into our everyday life. So we have to look at who is really influencing these young men, right? Because as Daniel mentioned, I could go and make a message and say, hey, we need to stop this violence, we need to do better, but my message may only last for so long. At the end of the day, these kids have to put down their phones at some point. They have to interact with other people at some point. So who is really setting the examples? Who is actually influencing these kids when they're not consuming content, right? So along with tackling the source in terms of, you know, how are these weapons getting into the island, we truly need to tap into who's really influencing our kids and what can we do to take reins on that influence and continue to drive it in a positive direction. Those are my thoughts.
Quite interesting coming from a social media influencer. You're saying who is really influencing the children, because Daniel and I, we had that conversation about music, and we're gonna get back there. But this is a father here, who is on. Alex is a father and a past student of the lodge school, and his daughter, knows the young man Shawnathon. And I want to ask you something, Mr. Watson. I want to speak honestly, as honest as we could, without telling out your business. But we're talking here about influence. Who do you think is the strongest source of influence then, or influence upon the young people in of today, or even your own child? Who is it? Who do you think? Oh, you're muted, Alex?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. Thanks very much. I honestly think the biggest influence right now on the youth are the radio personalities, the DJs. Yeah, they play a big part. Because the children listen to what they play on the radios at fests, at parties, at cruises, stuff like that. I mean, we all listen to the radio. So I think that the radio personalities have a big part to play because they're a very huge influence on our kids. Yeah, I would also say the entertainers, the entertainers, the local entertainers, they have a huge impact on our kids as well. And that's honestly speaking from my perspective, from my view.
Yeah, from your okay, and it's good to be honest as you're a parent. How many children do you have, Mr. Watson?
I have 2 children.
And they're all teenagers?
No, my son is 6 and Sienna's 16.
16. And you believe that the radio personalities, because of the type of music that they play and the entertainers, those are the biggest influencers on the youth, and probably on your hands down, and probably on your own child. So Mr. Boyce, you're a producer, video producer. I've seen some of your content. All of it is not for children. You do have some violence in the content based on, as a filmmaker, I mean, the truth is you are reflecting the song that was given to you. It wasn't a kumbaya song, so then you are reflecting that. Now you're hearing what this parent is saying. Okay, how do you translate? What does this mean to you? You're a content creator, you're an entertainer. Yeah, so what does this mean to you?
At the end of the day, while I may not share the same opinion, that doesn't mean I'm going to discredit his opinion, right? Everyone has their own viewpoint. What may influence, him may not influence me. What may influence my kids.
Daniel, I'm hearing that you're a little still too low, probably because
I'm too low again. Studio. How about, is it better now?
Yes, that's better.
Yeah, yes. Sorry. So what I was saying was, even though I may not agree with his, I don't share his opinion. I'm not gonna discredit it, right? What may influence me may not influence him, and vice versa. In my opinion, I feel like there are other factors that are of greater influence. Like, for example, like the cost of living. There's been studies that have shown an increase in crime as the cost of living increases. I feel like there's a program or a initiative going around where we're funding school children's opportunity to make music and so on and so forth, which is cool. I think that's really cool. But one thing I think we can look at that might have an immediate impact on society is, how about we look at the cost of, or the lowering of import taxes, sorry. For example, if I buy a t-shirt online for $40, why should I have to pay the port another $40 to clear it? So then I have to sell this shirt that I bought at $40 for $100 now to try and make a profit after paying all these taxes. Maybe if we lessen those import taxes, we give an opportunity to younger children to, become self-starters, look at entrepreneuring. When I first started out in filmmaking, I actually started out in photography. Getting seamless paper here was a tremendous burden. A roll of seamless paper costed 50 Barbados. Because of the size and I had to get it from DHL. It actually costed me $700 to land one roll of seamless paper here in Barbados, and that seamless paper costed $50. So I feel like there are other things that we could look at. I mean, I think the cost of living is one that our government can address immediately to try and lessen the impact.
Daniel, somebody might say before I get to Brandon, someone might say, but Daniel, a 16-year-old, I think a 16-year-old was just charged, with murder. Who takes a gun and shoots. So that's nothing to do with cost of living. He's just, wayward and he's just angry.
I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you why.
Agree with that?
No, I'll tell you why I don't agree with that. So from having spent time among different circles, right? If things are hard at home, right? So for example, some kids may have to, the shoes they wear to school, they may have to wear out. They may get teased for that. They may not be taking a good lunch to school. They may not have good clothes to wear. They may be getting teased for that. So what then happens? If someone can say to these children, you know what? Listen, I can give you a way to earn some money, right? I can, do something for me, like $250, $300, so on and so forth. That's enticing to that child that may be being bullied at school or may not have certain opportunities or may just be hungry. You know what I mean? So things like that can be directly tied to the cost of living.
Yes, yeah. But Brandon, and I want us to speak honestly because you're an influencer. Your career is connected to entertainment, which this dad is saying is a bad influence on young people. Right now, Daniel's as well, but Daniel, somebody listening to him, Brandon could say, well, you know what? Nobody the entertainers don't want to take the blame. They're blaming the government. Right? The entertainers are blaming the government. They don't. Somebody could listen to you, Brandon, and say, "What, Brandon? You are not taking any responsibility at all. You are blaming the government." What do you say about that?
Oof, that one is a little challenging because there are benefits to both sides, right? Both sides have a fair amount of points to be considered, right? Like taking into consideration Alex's perspective where he spoke on like the radio, the people at the radio, the DJs, the music they play. It's a heavy influence on our kids, yes. But as I go back to my original point where I also consume a lot of that music.
But before you go there, explain to me what is the influence. What you said it can, but explain, break it down for me, Brandon, before you go to yourself. Okay, let's break it down. How do you think music could actually negatively influence a child or a young person?
Let's start at the lyrics. Having certain lyrics repeated consistently could put you in a space where you may be a little more aggressive than some, right?
Okay.
So if you are listening to a number of things that talk about, always being ready, always staying armed, always being prepared, like, and not taking disrespect, it injects a certain amount of aggression in the average person. And even as a youth that's very young and impressionable, they find themselves in a situation where it could be aggressive and they instantly go to that song and they tell themselves, well, hey, if I don't react in this particular way, especially seeing that this is the kind of music that my peers are consuming as well, then I may look weak, right? And then that can lead to, as what Daniel would have made a point on, being bullied, being pushed around. So then they resort to aggression to assert dominance of sorts, right? So in that way, we could see how the lyrics and the songs could be influential in that capacity.
So you're saying that it is possible. So do you then think that entertainers, the radio personalities, people like me, filmmakers, that we need to take responsibility as well? Would you say that, Daniel?
To an extent, yes, because art is subjective, right? And as a creator myself, Daniel and I, we work on a number of projects, and as you said, not everything is kumbaya, but art is subjective, right? And sometimes we can just take things at face value for what they are, but at the same time, it's about balance, right? The same way that we could create something violent, we could also create something peaceful. We could create something that promotes conflict resolution. We could create something that promotes entrepreneurship. So of course we do hold a responsibility. We are not blameless, but it's just that it goes beyond that. It goes beyond the facet of influence, right? So that's my thoughts on it, honestly.
Yes. Quite interesting. Mr. Watson, as a parent, you know, sometimes I hear, and I think Daniel, when Daniel was on here a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the role of the parent, and listening to you, sir, you right away you said radio personalities and the music and so on, but sometimes the entertainers are saying, but daddy, it's you, it's the parents. You are the problem, the parents are the problem. So how do you weigh that, Dad? You first thing you said was the radio personalities, and someone could say, possibly could they say that you are blaming them and it's the parents? What's your take on that? You're muted again, Mr. Watson.
Sorry about that. That was my hand. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that radio personalities, DJs, what we call them, I'm not saying that they are a bad influence. I'm just basically saying that, like, sometimes the music, I think the youth take the music too seriously, right? They take it too seriously. Like I like my friend here, I can't remember his name, the guy
Brandon?
here, Brandon. Yes. I too, I listen to Vibes Cartel. I listen to dub. I listen to R&B and stuff. But I don't go out there with a gun and shoot people, or I don't go and rob people. And some of these songs may talk about killing, or might talk about robbing somewhere or thing. But that does not mean that I'm going to take up a gun and go and shoot somebody, or rob a gas station, or so to say that it is the radio personalities' fault or the entertainers would be wrong. So that's why I said, don't get me wrong, right? But I think the youth are so infiltrated, is like they're like sponges. They soak up everything. So when they hear these things and their friends are listening to it too, it's impacting both sides, right? As a father, I take my parenting role very seriously, right? I try to be careful in, especially what my my son, what he watches and what he listens to. I try very hard. So sometimes I may even have to cut myself out from listening to certain things, because I may not want him to hear them and then take them in, right? My daughter, she's at the age where she can choose. She's 16, she's going 17 this year. She can choose for herself, but she knows right from wrong, right? So that's basically my view on that point. So I would not blame the radio personalities and thing. It At the end of the day, they have they have a job to do. As my friend here, he's a producer. He has music to produce. He has a living to make, but he's not telling the young people out there to go and rob and kill and fight one another.
Mhm,
But the youth
mhm.
are taking everything and they're soaking it up and they're just doing what they think is right. You understand?
Yeah, yeah. But Daniel, why is it so different? Because Mr. Watson is saying that he listened to Vibes Cartel, he listened to all kinds of different things. Brandon is saying that, you are saying that. What is so different now with our young people, with our children and our youth? What's the difference?
I think it is having access to these weapons. Because as I was just listening to both Brandon and Alex, right?
Okay.
I was thinking, Brandon, you can add value to this too. We grew up hearing Movado and Vibes Cartel having a lyrical war, right? That was huge.
Yep.
Gully versus Gaza, huge, right? Even when I went to school at Alexandra, a certain set of us like Movado, some of us like Cartel. We'd pretend to have these beefs. Sometimes it would get out of hand. We didn't have access to guns at that time. We you may say, yeah, you could bring a knife from home, but it didn't even get there. It didn't get there. At most you might have like a fist fight, a quarrel, but to bring a gun to school, we didn't have access to that.
Everybody's shaking their head because you did not have access to
No.
guns. I wonder if for us, I wonder if we're listening. Parents, everybody, are we listening to the show tonight? Now, someone though said Shaquila Marshall is not agreeing with you, and she is saying the difference today is social media, not the access to
100%.
guns.
Yeah,
One
I
hundred
think
percent.
I agree that social media is a big impact too. But I mean, without the guns, you'd have no shootings, right? So it can only impact you to a certain extent. I do think social media is detrimental to our young people. I wouldn't even limit that to young people. I think social media, while it can be beneficial, on a whole is detrimental, right? Because it leads you to compare your life to the best aspects of what someone else is choosing to show you. So then it becomes an unfair comparison. And that's a lot of strain on our young people. But my whole thing is, if guns were not in Barbados at all, let's say they
Mhm,
couldn't get here. Again, we
mhm.
don't make them. They couldn't get through the port. They couldn't get through the airport. We had no guns in Barbados. How would the shootings occur, regardless of what influenced them?
Mm,
It'd be impossible.
mhm.
So I feel like, yeah, the influences are there, but these influences haven't just started. Listen to Supercat's lyrics. We had Beanie Man and Bounty Killer's War. Listen to
Yeah.
some of Shabba's lyrics, Courtney Melody. You can go further back. Music, my mother's a lot older than me, and she didn't grow up listening to gospel. But in her era, they didn't have as many shootings as we have now. And I believe it's the access to the weaponry that has changed.
Wow. And Brandon, I see you're agreeing with that. Is there anything else that you think might be so different from your era as a teenager, listening to that kind of lyrics, and why didn't you pick up a gun?
Well,
What's so different apart from
uh,
your mother?
no, I was just going to say, firstly, my mother was a very big part of that. She didn't play at all. So I remember many nights when I wanted to go to cavalcades and a number of different events as a youngster. Like my mom would have a very tight rein because she understood what it means to be impressionable, especially as a young person. And she kept tight reins on me, and I give God all the glory for that because it helped me in my future. But
Mm,
I definitely think that social media is also a part of it. But but where I would like to offer a counter perspective or a different perspective is that social media is huge, right? And it's huge to
mhm,
the point where you can find anything you want on social media. So that includes the bad and the good. There's a wealth of content online that can teach you how to become a millionaire. I can teach you how to get into filmmaking. I can teach you how to it is amazing the amount of things out there that you can literally focus on and completely transform your life, right? Even down to fitness, right?
mhm.
So it maybe we need to help the youth navigate the online space better to find the better outlets as well. But the truth is, when you say A, you have to say B. Yes, there's a significant amount of things online that can influence our youth to do negative stuff, along with coupled with the things like the access to the weaponry, the hard economic times. There are a number of things that could compound and lead to these types of actions. But at the same time, there's a whole other world that exists where none of that isn't possible, where none of that exists. And I think it's just about showing them how to navigate, because we are in the era of social media. We are in fact in the space where you can get access to information, and there is no limit in it. It is simply how to navigate through and find the right channels.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, there's one more point I wanted to stress on as well, because I keep seeing in the comments popping up, we're speaking about parents. So I wanted to touch back on the cost of living from a different perspective, right? So I feel like when I was raised by my grandmother, right, who wasn't working, she'd retired early, and her pension at the time was enough to sustain that early retirement. I feel like right now, the grandparents that have to take care of or are trying to assist taking care of the younger kids now, I don't believe they have access to enough income to be as vigilant as, the grandparents that, may have raised us. Like, for example, when I was growing up, we'd be outside playing cricket. If we did something, my friends, grandmother or grandfather might see us, the neighbor might see us, etc., etc. Whereas now most persons have to be at work. They can't afford to spend so much time at home monitoring the kids. And then I feel like a lot of times our kids, as opposed to being able to rely on a community and a network of grandparents and elders that are at home, more often than not, they have to try to raise themselves, or parents, because they don't have, time, they give them the tablet to, okay, let me just let you watch YouTube while I, try to work, because I'm juggling a bunch of different things. Your grandmother's not here, your grandfather's not here. Here's the iPad. Just, 2 hours, so I feel like times are a lot harder as well. I think parenting now is a lot harder as well than it was, let's say, 30 years ago.
Most definitely. Well, let me go to this daddy here. Dad, Mr. Watson, I'm calling him dad, and he's not hearing me.
Yes, please. I'm here.
Oh, he's watching.
Yeah,
When you're listening to these two young men, and your daughter's friends, the friends that they have, the friends at lodge and outside of the school, etc.
yes, please.
Are they describing the young people you see around you?
I think it's a mixture of both, to be honest. It's a mixture of both. The young children, the young children that she's around, it's like it's around that age, around Shawnathon's age, 16, 17, they are on that same level. I honestly speaking, I don't have much friends, to be honest. I have taken myself away from a lot in the recent years, especially due to work and stuff like that. I tend to be really busy, so I don't get the time like I used to when I was younger. I mean, I have a couple of friends that I can call on and talk to and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it. But they're like around my age too. I'm not ashamed to say my age on air. I'm 38 years old. Yeah, so it's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both.
That's great. I mean, your head is so screwed on, and I tell you, there are lots of fathers, Daniel, who are young fathers, who are good fathers, really great fathers. So, Brandon, when we look at
Not
what's
hearing
going on,
anything.
we see. Can you hear me? Okay, you see a lot of Black men. Today we were going over the numbers. We were putting some placards together because I don't know if you know, Brandon, we have the solemn march tomorrow. Yes, there's a solemn march tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, we have a solemn march. I would love to invite you to it. And this is in because of what has happened to Shawnathon. We want to pay our respects. We want to give our condolences to the family. It's something that has occurred, and we want to pause and to reflect and to really analyze exactly what's going on. But when we looked at all of the numbers last year, we had 51, right, who were killed. Already, Daniel, we have 12. In 13 weeks we have 12. He's the youngest of these black men. When we did up all these memorial placards and put them up, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, Brandon, I had chills looking at it today. And I know it's going to affect a lot of people tomorrow. But the reality is, these are our black children, right? Whether some of them are older men, some of them are in their 50s, but black men. What do you say to young men in Barbados? What when you hear that kind of statistics and that kind of information, what would you say if you had the opportunity to speak to them? What would you say?
I'd say wake up. I'd say wake up. Someone mentioned in the comments that people who are more spiritually aware usually tend to shy away from these things, and I think it's oftentimes because a lot of individuals in this world are sleeping, right? They're driven by ego. They're driven by, again, the things that they see, and they don't possess the emotional and spiritual intelligence to decipher simple right from wrong, right? And I think that that's something that that's something we need to hone in on when it comes to the youth, when it comes to the black men of our society. Like, we are in charge of each other's safety, and we're in charge of each other's growth. And I'd like to eventually find myself in a space where I could teach more men how to be more spiritually aware, how to be more emotionally intelligent, because I think that when we get to a point where we can start having more conversations with each other and being able to hash out our problems in a way that is beneficial to everyone involved, then we'd find ourselves with less casualties. Right. And so to the young men, or to the men out there, I say, wake up, see what is going on, and come together and wake up.
It's I'm telling you, it's very chilling. It's chilling, Daniel. It's chilling. And I think of the community of Silver Hill. And I think of we drove through there today and saw all the children. It's very compact, very tight, densely populated. What message can you give to Silver Hill tonight, Daniel?
Boy, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? I don't think there are words that I can say to. I don't think verbally I can offer anything to the community. What I will say is, I'm trying to do my part as a dad and a citizen of the country as well. I'm trying to do my part too, and I don't have all the answers.
What is your part? What is it that you're doing?
My part is ensuring that, and you never say never, but I'm hoping to in this instance, to ensure that I'm not being a part of gun violence. I'm not facilitating it. I'm not getting involved. I'm not,
Mm.
as I said, Brandon, we had this conversation before. Most of us know people that unfortunately have firearms. Can't speak to the legality of it, but most of us know someone that has them. And I'm trying to have the conversations with persons that I know that have them as well, and just encouraging
Okay.
people to think, everything doesn't need to resort to violence. I don't feel like gun crime is the answer. I'm doing my part to try to find better ways to have conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon and I would have just put out we put out a film that speaks to that in many different ways.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We put out 2 films actually.
I would like to see that.
Oh yeah, we can send that to you, Brandon. We can send Herd and 26. They speak to different aspects of conflict resolution and different
Miss
issues
Weeks?
going on in
Miss Weeks?
society.
Yes,
Yeah.
Alex.
Sorry to impede. I'm on the road, but I'm soon home. My phone is going to die.
Okay, let me let
can
you
I,
say. Let me let you talk about the children, and
yeah,
yeah. Talk to me about the children and what they're coming to do tomorrow at
yeah,
the Solemn Walk, and then you can go. Yes.
yeah, no problem. Okay, well, tomorrow, as you know, we're going to gather tomorrow. We're going to say a prayer. We would like as much people to come out and show their support for Shawnathon's family, the community especially, and come together and just talk amongst each other and pray for our communities, pray for our country, pray for our schools, pray for our families. Everyone at this time, that is going through, what we're experiencing right now together. The Silver Hill community has been rocked by a couple shootings recently. They had the little girl that got shot the other day. She's 12 years old. So it is, it's devastating. But tomorrow we want to bring, a sense of, try to bring a sense of peace and awareness that, people out there care. And we've had enough. We've had enough. The violence is not necessary, and to please stop it. And let's take a pause tomorrow and remember what we're gathering for. Right, the kids are gonna come out. They're gonna. I think the kids will have poems. They're gonna sing songs, and just try to unite as one, together as one. So we would like as much people to come out tomorrow morning as possible. Yeah.
Yes, Alex. Thank you so much, Mr. Watson, and let your daughter know we're praying for her. Okay, and all of
No
the
problem.
children. Thank
No
you,
problem
sir.
at all. I appreciate it very much, and good night to everyone listening. May God bless you all and keep you all safe.
Yes. Wow. I saw the both of you as he was speaking there, Brandon. I saw it. I could feel what you guys were feeling. And it makes me wonder, what can we actually do? Without what can I do? I mean, Brandon, what changes can I make? What changes can I make? Brandon, what's your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, similar to Daniel, I'm a dad to a 2-year-old. My son is quite young.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So as a new father, my task as a parent is to make sure that my son is an outstanding individual, that he can be a good contributor to society, whether and not from just a professional standpoint, but as a human being. Compassion, consideration, love, humility. These are the things that we need to be teaching our children so that they know how to interact with each other better. Because oftentimes, if someone is able to look past and look at somebody who may be bullying someone, and as opposed to thinking like, okay, this is just a bad person. Maybe he has so much going on. Maybe he just needs a friend. Maybe he just needs support. And just being able to create a human being or to help mold a human being that could do that for someone. Me, that's part of my duty, and as a creator, to position myself in a place where I can tell stories that can inspire, that can continue to teach, and can continue to guide. So for me, that is how I see my part in making a change to all of this.
Yeah. As I was looking at both of you, I didn't think of this before you guys came on, but I was wondering if there was a way that we could bring the entertainers in a meaningful way. Not that kumbaya and the rest in peace and the social, like how could we, as I'm into filmmaking. But how could we, at least some of you, and I mean you guys are way younger than I am, but if you could find a way to, as Daniel was saying, no, Brandon was saying how, we could choose to do to create something for this moment. Then do you know what I mean? Not that you mustn't create the other things, but just for right now. You hear what he's saying. Those children are hurting. We just had a 12-year-old girl that was shot a couple months ago she was sitting on a veranda. We're in a crisis, Daniel. It is an emergency. And I'm wondering if without laying any blame, because we've realized tonight, you can't put all the blame on the entertainers. You can't put all the blame on the radio personality. You can't put all the blame on the parents. You can't put all the blame on the government. So it makes me wonder. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I love the idea that the two of you collaborated, and I'm wondering, Daniel, if it could be something bigger. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, Brandon and I, we've committed to at least trying to make one short film a year that tries to spark a conversation around these issues that we're having in society.
Okay.
Getting people to watch it.
That's what I was going to ask you.
That's another discussion, because the conversation with the entertainers, we have to take into the listeners as well, because the entertainers are trying to make money. If the audience wasn't there, they'd sing about something else, right? So at the bare minimum, we've committed to, trying to make a short film that, speaks to some issue that we're having within society. We've done a couple. To be honest with you, we've tried to collaborate with various ministries to, get these films in front of our, school children, collaborate with churches. We've tried to, at best, we've managed to collaborate with UE and the Red Cross. They were open to it, but we had great challenges trying to collaborate with the ministry and
you mean with the Ministry of in government?
Yeah, government. We had great challenges with it. So we can create the content, but getting it in front of people and convincing people to watch it, that was a different challenge.
And you went to the Ministry of Education?
Yeah, we boy, not only that, we went to the Ministry of Education and what's Mr. Humphrey's ministry?
People empowerment.
Yeah, because one of our, we've got a piece there called 26 that we were trying to collaborate with him for quite some time, and
right, not happen. I mean, the thing with my films, Brandon, you guys ever heard of Hush?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, we went to see it at school children. How do you mean?
Okay, great. Well, yeah, because I don't want to assume, but all of those films that we did were we went to the Ministry of Education, and I just made one call to the Ministry of Education, and they sent out this was in 2008, and they sent everybody was at the cinema to see the films. So I'm surprised that we can talk off air to see, probably, I don't know. I mean, you're intelligent guys, so did you wrote them? Did you write them? Did you meet?
Of course, we wrote, produced, directed. We.
But did you write the ministry officially?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we wrote the ministry. We actually had representatives from government come to. We had an event at UE,
Yes.
A screening at UE between UE, the Red Cross, and us. We had representatives from various different ministers come to the event. We spoke great length on what we could do with the pieces, how we can try to get them in communities, school children's, how we can use film to help influence our youth. Boy,
Oh,
boy,
I'm
boy, boy.
totally surprised at that, honestly, because I had no problems in getting in into the school with through the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. None of the films, and they sent, in fact, classes, Brandon, were they had discussions, and you would know, in classes, English classes, social studies, they were calling for the films through the region. So I'm very surprised what's happening. What's, oh my goodness.
I don't know if they're
But
busy.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it
Brandon, let
wasn't
me but
sorry.
Brandon, what's your thought? I mean, you wrote, you produced, and you have something you want to help the young people with, and you're not feeling anything on the other end. How does that make you feel as a young Barbadian?
Oh, it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult, and it's only due to the fact that I have an unwavering step when I'm walking towards my goals and dreams, that I haven't given up. Because the truth is, beyond these pieces that we're talking about, there are a number of projects that we've tried to get off of the ground, that we've tried to bring to Barbados, that would have offered a wealth of job opportunities. Like wow, it's overwhelming sometimes when we sit
Brandon,
and
be
talk about it.
transparent. Be transparent. You could talk about the number, bro. Be transparent. Be transparent. We had $20 million we were bringing to Barbados. If we
Huh?
told you the stories off air, you wouldn't
Mm,
believe it. You could be
yeah,
transparent, my Brandon.
yeah.
Don't
What are
call
you
names, but we
saying
could
to
talk.
me? What are you saying to me? These are two guys. I want you folks. So I sit here with honestly, I've tears in my eyes. You know why?
Oh,
Because we complain all the time, Brandon and Daniel. We complain and we say the young people, and they're not doing this and they're not doing that. And do we see two strong young black men sitting here saying, listen, we went ahead and we produced something, and we say, we have something great, it can help. And nobody, they're not hit nothing on the other end to help them. They have business ideas. Talk to me, Brandon. Talk to me.
yeah, as Daniel was saying, we're talking about opportunities in the millions. We even had individuals in the industry in the
From
UK and the
Hollywood.
US that were willing to take interested people from Barbados and train them in film and production, so that they could be more valuable to the market. The stumbling blocks that we faced were not only heartbreaking, but I it's almost like, what's the point? Like, what was the point of trying to tear down these opportunities, just because, like, for what? For what? And it is so discouraging, because we say that we're trying to progress. We say that we're trying to create opportunities for the youth to come off of the street. Like, do you know how many people we could have had as interns? How many people we could have just, how we could have gone into communities and given out flyers and be like, hey, look, we starting this production. It's going to be a huge opportunity. Do. But when we face so much challenges and we face so much friction, it almost feels like the most confusing experience you can have, because I thought we were a nation of progress. I thought we were a people of progress, but sometimes the people that have the power sometimes feel like enemies of progress.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because Brandon and I, right? And I tell you the full story off air. If I tell you, you would
Yeah.
not believe us. We managed to convince executives
Mm-hmm.
from Hollywood to come here to Barbados. We had an opportunity to create, I think it was at least 50 jobs for Barbadian creatives
Mm-hmm.
across 4 TV shows.
Mm.
The revenue would have been about $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
And if we tell you why trust me, did not happen. So, and it's easy to say, oh yeah, we need the youngsters to do this. 20 million across 50 jobs. We would get PAs, just
Right.
assistants, would have earned about 50,000 Barbados across the 4 projects. So that would have been about 200,000 Barbados for the year. PAs, 200,000
Wow.
Barbados for the year. And that's only working for 16 weeks of the year, mind you.
And not to mention the others who would be trained.
They were willing to train. Not only were they willing to train here, they were willing to take these persons abroad, whether that's to the US and to the I'll tell you off air. You won't believe it. But long and short, we speak about we want progress, we want this. And this is not something that no one told me and Brandon. This is what we have lived through. This is what we brought to Barbados.
No.
And this is we got turned down.
Exactly.
You understand? So it's easy to talk about giving the young people an opportunity and all that.
That is, you see, this is part of the frustration, and it breeds anger and a lot of resentment. And I heard Brandon, you said you are confused. And I understand that, we see you as our children, and you would have gone to school. You both speak so well educated. You're good at your craft, and you now have something you want to give to your nation, and it's shut down. This is what, and you know what? We're looking at you guys here, but this is what you were talking about, Daniel, that's happening on the streets. You remember when you start this conversation?
Yep.
That's what this is what you're talking about. It is just, and you know what? Your parents brought you up well. You have a spiritual base, and so you don't feel like you need to get to that,
But you say that, but that's not entirely true, because there are times Brandon and I, we had conversations this year where we've done the right thing. We've brought money to the country. We've not been able to realize that revenue because of certain restrictions. And then you go, sometimes it might be easier to just do the wrong thing. So I can see why some people, I mean, thank God we earn a living through our craft, so you don't have to resort to that. But I can see how people who are struggling could very easily resort to crime and take chances.
Very easy. Very,
I
very
can
easy.
see why how people would take chances. I'm telling you.
100%. Because you're put in a position where you're doing the right thing, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to take the right steps. And then the hard part about this too is when you're observing people that are doing the wrong thing and excelling at alarming rates. So then in like, how could you not expect someone to say, well, okay, if A is not working out, then and B is also a viable option, and I'm watching people getting through doing B, let me take this route as well. It's like apples. It's simple. And if we don't address that, we're also going to continue meeting that same problem. We can't shoot down opportunities and expect people to just keep on going. We have to live. We have to eat. We have kids. We as Daniel said, like people's shoes falling off. Like people need to survive and need to live. They need to live. They need to live. And the film industry is $1 trillion industry. And not a lot of people know that it's $1 trillion industry. We have Bollywood and Nollywood completely crushing it and creating a whole industry for their countries. Why can't we do the same? There's nothing in the Caribbean that even remotely comes close. And we scream progress. We scream that we're going to move forward, that we're progressive. Yeah. But yet, why haven't we locked in on that? $1 trillion is a lot of money.
Look at the difference in support from bashment soca to filmmaking. Oh boy. Look at the difference in support.
Man. Wow.
Yeah.
This is, and I love you guys being real about it, because I can't help but remembering Daniel's opening statements. And if you guys are facing this, can you imagine the guys on the streets? Real talk. Real talk. You could bring whatever program you want to bring in there, whatever. This is real, folks, and this is what our young men, what they're experiencing. I didn't plan to have you all this long, but I think this is real, and I really hope that the people in the in authority are listening. Listen. Wow, I don't understand that. I would think that with all the crime that is happening now is when they would be willing to accept the films and willing to.
It'd be easier for me to get funding for a soca video where I'm doing all kind of lewd acts to consenting females. I'm singing the worst lyrics. It'd be easier for me to get funding for that than if I wanted to create a positive film. And that's not something that someone's told me. That's what we've been through.
We live it.
That's what we've lived through.
We live
That's
it.
not something that we've heard. I'm telling you. It'd be easier.
It'd be easier.
Look at the soca season. Look at all the music videos. You'll see at the end, you'll see supported by this government agency, yada yada yada. You'll see it for yourself. It'd be easier to get that funding than if I wanted to create a film that wanted to kind of incite people to go, okay, maybe we should look at having a different way of resolving conflict. You know, we just did a film there in what, Brandon? December, January?
November, yeah. December, November.
Self-funded. And if I tell you we tried to get support for that, and if I tell you why we didn't get support for that, boy, you remember what happened last year, March, Brandon? If I tell you why we didn't get support for that, so it's easy to get on TV and say, "Oh yeah, we support this, we support that." But then when it comes down to it, let's look at the proof. Let's look at the action. Let's look at the evidence. Are you really supporting the things you say you're supporting?
Are we serious?
Outliers.
Yeah. Are we serious about, do we really want to not have another Shawnathon?
Exactly.
Are we going to, as Brandon says, are we just going to put rest in peace and on our social media? Are we really serious as a society? And that is deep. No, you stunned me tonight. Honestly, I am stunned. And here it is. We look at young men like you guys, and we say, "Oh, they don't have anything. Look like they don't have anything to live for. They're not contributing to society." But look at this. Wow, this is awesome. I mean, the revelation is stunning. I'm sorry, Brandon. I want to just, as an adult, I want to apologize to you all. I want to sincerely apologize to you for crushing your dreams. Brandon, I want to say sorry that you went out and you negotiated over $20 million at your age, and you brought it back to your country. I want to sincerely, from my heart, apologize to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Honestly.
That is, and you know why I'm so passionate? I've been there. Brandon, I've been there. When all you rep is Barbados, you travel, you rep Barbados, but Barbados not interested. All we want is tourism. We're building buildings and hotels, and we're not. Oh, can somebody can somebody cut this out and send to our officials? We're not focusing on the people. It is. I want to sincerely, on behalf of the adults, I say adults, I know you're adults too, but those who are older than you are, I want to apologize to you, and I want to speak to you to see if there's any way that I can assist. I want to give you a call and to see any way I could go through what I did, and to see how, if there's any way, anybody we know, any distributor we know, that we can try to open that door for you. Can you give me 5 minutes? Anybody wants to call in and speak to these two young men? I did not plan to have you all. In fact, you've gone into another whole nother segment that I have where people call in, but this is what Brandon, and Daniel, you said it at the beginning of the program, and I was thinking about it, but it makes a lot of sense. This is what we're seeing. This is what we're seeing on the streets, I believe.
Because people are trying. People are trying. I know a lot of youngsters are trying, honest to God. They're trying. And some people, if you don't have a good support system, a good network, you can take a chance and your life's completely changed just from just taking a chance.
I wanted people to hear what they said, that they self-produced. They would have paid everything. They would have paid these young men, put everything, their talent in, their time in, their money in, and nothing on the other end. That is crazy. That is crazy. Anybody wants to call in and speak to these young men tonight? Guys, on the Marcia Week show, you know how we do it. Anybody wants to call in? The lines are open. I want to encourage both of you, if you can, to come and meet some of the young people tomorrow. We were not even going to have any speeches, and I got requests from the some of the persons from the young people from the Lodge School, asking to say something. They want to read a poem. They want to express themselves. So I'm going to ask anybody who wants to call in. But Dave, go ahead and play while they call in, while they prepare.
To the sounds of crying, another mother shedding her tears. Oh yeah, why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing? Could it be that nobody cares? Oh no. So many sons lost in the slaughter, blood running in the streets like water. A gun in hand knows no friend, no. Warmongers selling death in my land, getting rich off the souls of we children. Can you tell me when will it end? How many more must carry this load? Oh, how many more? How many more? How many more? Before we trot down Zion Road. How many more? Sing wayo, 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 wayo. Heavenly Father, won't you hear my plea? Send a heavy hand for the country. In man, there's no solution.
Dave, I think we have a caller on the line.
I'm begging for the children's future. Oh, Jah, drugs got them by the collar. How can we stop this mind pollution?
Yes. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Week show.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.
Well, I'm still always locked on. It's just that there's no more Facebook. so I can't say, I can't comment. So I want to say good night to everyone and to the loyal opposition.
Yes, good night. Good night.
It seems to me that we're losing all sanctity for life. And it's heartbreaking. It seems to me too that we're losing respect for everything that we used to hold dear.
Mhm.
And that bothers me. We're also, it seems to me too that we have lost respect for the policemen, the teachers, and I am really disappointed in the way the government is handling this situation.
Yes, ma'am.
They do not paint a good picture in terms of who they are associating with. You're known by who you associate with,
Mm.
and it does not reflect well,
Mhm. Mhm.
especially on the Prime Minister. And I make no apologies for saying it because you are seeing it.
Yes.
The other thing that I believe is that sound, and I've said it before, and I also read the book, The Mozart Effect, and sound influences your brain and it can lead you to do cruel things. And then you look at what you hear on the radio, a lot of the music, the beat is demonic. It
Okay.
really is.
Okay.
And the proof is there. It's not that the proof isn't there.
And you
And children,
you really think, I mean, that's a little debatable that the beat itself is demonic, but I know we've passed the time a little bit, but I don't know, did you hear these young men as they
yes,
were
I've been
speaking?
on all night.
Yes, is there
I've been
anything you
on
want
all
to say
night.
to them? Anything you want to say to these two young men here tonight?
I was disappointed when I heard the one who made the film saying he got no response, you know, from officials in terms of what he has put out.
Mm-hmm.
But he isn't the first, nor will he be the last. But when one door closes, another will open.
Yes.
God always makes a way if you're doing the right thing.
Yes, yes.
So,
Well, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yes, thank you. You know, guys, you heard that's a senior that's calling, and the senior is basically telling you this is what has happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and the senior is not surprised. How does that make you feel, Daniel, listening to that?
I mean, at this point, it's becoming, it's starting to not become surprising for us either. You know, sadly, it's what you're coming to expect. But then it's difficult because you say, well, all right, create good pieces. You create good pieces. You don't get support. but then you do a music video that might not be the most positive, but it pays the bills.
Right. So then you end up doing the music videos. So the cycle continues really. It's a very deep conversation, and I don't want to, it's 9:30, and we weren't supposed to be on this long. It's supposed to be a 30-minute segment, but it was just so real and dynamic, and I just want to thank everybody for just being engaged tonight to listen to our young men, what's on their heart and being so real and transparent about it. Gives me a lot to think about when we see our young men in the street and just how angry they are, why they're really that angry. So thank you all so very much. Is there anything, Brandon, that you want to say before you go?
Yes, Marcia, thank you. I was reading a lot of the comments, and I really wanted to say on behalf of Diana and myself, seeing as we are a team, we want to thank you all so much for all the encouragement you guys have been giving. I see a lot of you even saying prayers in the chat, and these are the things that we need to continue moving forward, because oftentimes it's just us supporting each other. It's just us telling each other to keep going, really and truly. So to just be able to have a few of you on here just showing your support and showing your understanding towards what it is that we're going through, we appreciate you so much. We do not intend to stop as long as God grants us life and health. We want to make a change. We want to bring Hollywood to Barbados. We want to create our own version of that. That's a legacy we want to leave behind. And it is the flame that God has placed in our hearts, and we will continue to push regardless of the stumbling blocks, and we will continue to do it the right way, because when we tell our stories to the youth that come after us, they know that we did it the right way. And for that, we say thank you for the encouragement, thank you for the prayers, continue to keep us in your hearts, and God will see us through. So we just wanted to say thank you.
Brandon, you don't even know. You see, I'm smiling. What you just said there, lifted my spirit. And whatever, your genre might be a little different. I don't know, but whatever contacts that I have, whatever, because I have not been doing a lot of films, really, because of that same reason. But, I want to share that with you and to just have a conversation with you. We're gonna meet up. I promise you, with my husband, because we have some connections, and see if it works for you, right? And to you, Daniel, thanks for coming again. And is there anything else that's on your mind?
No, just first I want to say thank you to you, for giving persons like me and Brandon a platform in which to be transparent, in which to be honest, and shed some light on the things that we might be going through, because most times you only see one side of the discussion. You don't see what may influence person's actions. So thank you to you first and foremost for having us and giving us a chance to be open. Echoing what Brandon said, we're seeing the comments. I appreciate all the comments we're seeing, the support, the prayers, honestly. And like I said, we're doing our bit. We might be discouraged oftentimes, but we're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep trying to do it, the right way. And what's for us is for us. We're gonna make it, even if it's not the way we see it happening. I don't see perseverance and hard work going unrewarded. So we're just gonna keep trotting.
I see Alex is still there. What if Alex could come in? I think he got home and came back on, and I see him just shaking his head. Alex, Mr. Watson, you're a dad, and you have young children, 16 and 7, I think. And did you hear all of what these young men were saying tonight?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
My goodness, I saw your countenance changed completely. What's going on in your mind?
I think these guys are incredible. I actually know Brandon. I know Brandon. These guys are incredible. Keep up the good work. The sky's the limit. don't give up. Don't give up. Um, you know, keep producing good stuff. People out there will see you. They will hear you. You know, every day is not the same. Every day is not the same. But as long as you don't give up, you know, it's limitless, man. It's you know, it can be anywhere. It can be anywhere. I know it's hard. I know it's hard in Barbados. I know a lot of entertainers and stuff here. A lot of the soca artists and here. I know a lot of them. Um, I know song producers and stuff, and it's not easy. The economy is not easy in Barbados. If you don't know someone or you don't try to reach further ahead, you don't get nowhere. You don't get nowhere. You understand? I mean, look at like people like Lil Rick and the same John King. We have Red Plastic Bag. These guys that have been out there for years and had to travel the world and to be known. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I commend you guys. I commend you guys. Don't give up at all. Don't give up at all.
It's a real somber thing. There's a call from someone in the diaspora, Bajan in the diaspora. Good night, sir. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hi, Marcia. It's Adrian. I just want to give a shout out to Brandon in particular, to all the guys, but Brandon in particular. I've met him in Boston when he came up to visit his brother, Barry Jackman. So I just want to give a shout out. Let you guys know it's sad, but I'm nearly 60, and I can tell you what you guys are experiencing. I experienced when I was young. I'm telling you, things are not changing. There's no progress to the enfranchisement of Black Barbadians, and it's really, really, really sad. Really, really sad. But I'm saying you guys are stronger than I am. I lucked out. I got an opportunity to come to the States. I was heading down a very dark path. I was bitter. I was angry. The same thing you said, Brandon, that people are wrong, you getting by, and you can't. And you don't know why, and nobody's telling you anything. And I was pretty bitter, pretty angry, So luckily I got out, but a lot of my friends didn't. And a number of them have been incarcerated, and a number of them have not made any progress, not because they don't want to, but it's just there's no attention being paid to people's enfranchisement, and it's sad. So keep your heads up, guys, and keep striving, and God bless.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, caller. I mean that's basically what we've been saying, and wow. You know what? Thank you all so much. I don't want to keep you any longer, but thank you so very much. And I do hope, I know I'm going to see Mr. Watson tomorrow, and I do hope that
Yes,
you guys can come out. We want the young people there. We want you guys there, and to go into the community that it happened and feel with them. Connect with what's happening there. And once again, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Thank you, Theory Gittins, as well, for producing this segment. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Oh, my word. Wow, wow, wow. This has been really, really, really an eye-opener. We didn't have the 1,000 and something that we normally have. But I would like to hear, I saw your comments, guys. Don't you see that this is the conversation that we need to be having with our young people. Very transparent, very, very real. Very, very real. And then a lot of us, we're going to cry about what happened, and we're going to make speeches, and we're going to all these different things. And then when we look and we see what is happening, it is just really very, 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 very sad. Very sad. Dave, if you could put up the flyer again for me, please. There are lots of people who you see this on the screen, as one person said, I can't look at it anymore. You know, they say, I can't look at it. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm done. I'm done, you know. But it's important for us to look him in the eye. Look at his eyes. Look at him. This is a moment in time that we have Barbados. It's a moment. It's a very significant moment. We send condolences to the family. I think we have another caller here. Good night, caller.
Good evening, Marcia.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Thanks much. I never thought that you would have been able to host a program to outdo the one you did just a couple months ago at Nelson Street. And I think you have such a big heart. Somebody has to do it, yes, but you have a big heart. And what was chilling was to see that blood wash down the gutters the next morning. Mm-hmm. And I think this one has topped that, right? And I think who was missing from your panel this evening is at least a teacher. Mm. Teachers see, know, hear everything. Mm-hmm. Teachers have to pacify and quieten the children in the mornings and just bring them back to themselves. Sometimes they just have to let them sleep. Mm-hmm. Children go in. I do some private tutoring.
Yes.
So I know about what I speak. Students always dabble from in my day. Mm-hmm. You know, you have they put rum with some Coke and you think it is Coke, and you know, you have a rum and Coke, and when you go out to play football, you might ask the guy who's driving to stop. There would always be one or two guys doing that, but not the team.
Yes.
Not the team in its entirety. And I know in the mid-70s, before I say that, what was also missing from your program tonight is the element of mind-altering substances. I spoke to that sometime earlier on this year on a call-in program. Mm-hmm. I don't know what inspired me to speak about it, but I'm qualified well enough to know about mind-altering substances.
Yes.
And a drug is anything which, when consumed, taken into the body, inhaled, swallowed, whatever, digested, ingested, brings about a physiological change. So I'm not prepared to label anyone. Mm-hmm. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm a biochemist, medicinal chemist. Mm-hmm. And medicinal chemistry is the engineering of drugs, pharmaceuticals, anything that will bring about, whether it is a contraceptive, whether it is an injection, a COVID injection, mm-hmm. whether it is something for diabetics, hypertension. It is about engineering molecules to bring about a change in the person's behavior, ailment, what have you. Mm-hmm. So I'm not prepared to label one over the other.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that was not there in your program tonight. Mm-hmm. And about 2 years ago, about this time, I was on my way from Black Rock.
Yes.
To home, and I was trapped between two cars, a minibus, and I think two other vehicles separated me from the minibus. Mm-hmm. I have never ever seen a behavior like that. And there were girls. Mm. There were guys who were on their phones and they were doing what they had to do, but these girls, then they heard a van coming, a particular van. They ran. Mm-hmm. Like if you would fire a shot between birds. Mm-hmm. They were scattered and they ran and they kicked their feet in the air and they went through the motions of shouting, bursting shots in the air and screaming. And I never took that route again. I avoided. I had to be using that route at that time because I can tell you, it was my sister had not too long passed, and I was going to the apartment to get things sorted out, and it was almost like a daily trek. But I made sure I got out before that time.
But caller, if I could engage you a little,
yes, certainly.
Because sometimes when we as adults, you see these kinds of behavior, etc. And as you said, we you went a different route. You didn't bother to go back there
because it would hold me up to begin with, and I don't think our children have any right behaving like that.
Right. So the question I want to the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes we either ignore it for different reasons, can be legitimate reasons. We ignore it. We turn a blind eye to it. We say, well, our children are grown up, So I'm just wondering if that was the right positioning or decision, because sometimes I ask myself the same question.
I don't belong to either of the categories. It turned me off and it depressed me because I know I can't get anything. I can't do anything to change the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And something else I saw last year, a little later in the year than this, I saw a video, you must have seen it, of a youngster who left the school. And it was his last day at school. And he lined the management of that school in cuffs. Right?
Mm.
He lined, and it was there for all of us. I need to know which school he was coming from. All right? He lined the school in cuffs.
Mm.
And I'm saying you could see that he was in an altered state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And a few nights ago, I guess you would have also seen that video of a young man, and he stated his age in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, did you see it? He said that he was interviewed. And he said that he consumes certain substances.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah.
Right, and he's got a mental history.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is extremely sad. And I recall again in the mid-70s, there was a brand of marijuana on the market, which was causing. I hadn't gone off university yet. This was causing the consumers, the people who consumed it, to strip naked and run like a horse bolt in a stable.
Mm.
And you know what? Like about 5 years after that, I was reading Newsweek. It was either Newsweek or a Time magazine, and there was a section which was reserved for that, about this laced marijuana which was on the market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it elicited the same sort of behavior when consumed as what was happening 5 years prior in Barbados. So I'm saying these altered states of mind can, soldiers when they go to war, there's music to take them to war.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear that music doesn't matter, I laugh at that. There's music which winds up all footballers on Saturday in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Saints go marching in. I Never Walk Alone. And then the other one, they play at the FA Cup final. Another hymn, because somebody must die. Somebody must go under. In other words, a team must lose.
Mm-hmm.
The name of it isn't coming back to memory right now. So it is the setting of the music. You had the Jacksons, and you had boys who liked soul, and you had those who liked Sting, Earth, Wind and Fire, and but you had at most as a boy, and you would go by and you didn't have a murder.
Mm-hmm.
This is the frightening thing. And you had 4, you had 6, and it is alleged that Prime Minister Adams, as a lawyer, said that anytime you hear of a murder, it has come about because of a man drinking rum, or a man carrying another man or woman, or it could be a combination of both. You know, but you had 3, 4 murders, no murder, but now you have 8 people charged for war murder. So what I'm saying is the psychological side. So to say that, I'm not saying that we would see a spike when the vice comes about. I'm not getting into that, but what I'm saying is, if these young people see vice as their god, as we had young people who saw Selassie as their god,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that must be naturally. We had boys who saw Selassie as their god. When I went to university, I met Ethiopians who laughed at that.
Mm-hmm.
They said he came from he came from a well-to-do family, and they suffered. I schooled with both Ethiopians and Eritreans,
Right.
but I was a good listener. So I told Africans that you owe us money, you owe us reparations as much as the white man owes us reparations.
Yeah.
I always said it. So I am saying that they fail to tackle head on the consumption, all right, of mind-altering substances.
Yeah, and you have a point there. We didn't touch on.
You didn't touch it.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that tonight because of just how the discussion was going. But you're correct. Are you going to join us tomorrow, at Kendall Hill gas station?
I was going to. I had canceled my classes tomorrow for the one at Shawnathon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I learned to swim in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And that is extremely close to me.
Mm.
And after I heard that this one was on, I think this one is rather overwhelming.
Mm.
This one tomorrow is overwhelming. And I rebook, but I am down for whenever you have the Shawnathon one. But this one is overwhelming.
Mm.
This one is, I can see why people say that it's turned off. But as I said, I could not have imagined something to trump, something to beat what happened late last year.
So you're saying that it is too much for you.
It is overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
It is. I tell you, it is overwhelming. I tutor, but not that young. I don't tutor that age, but 15, 14 and up. And I have whom I refer to as the 5th generation in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And it is heart-wrenching.
Yeah. I could tell from the numbers tonight that, one lady said, I can't stay any longer for the rest of the show. It's too much. But can you imagine? I was privileged to connect with the mother of the child just for a few moments last night.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine the support that they need?
Of course.
At this time, yeah, and
any support that contributions, monetary contributions, I would definitely give it. I'm not speaking the absolute. I may just be tipped over to join.
Come and give them the support, because I tell you, it can't be easy. And I think just being there,
but you know what, Marcia, even in our personal bereavement,
yes,
you have so many people who are there to support you on the evening or the day of the passing or the interment or whatever. But then after they've gone, it's like a tide that has drifted back out.
Yes,
and I think that vacuum, that emptiness, then is just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
as the initial event.
Yes.
There's nobody there. Not many people call to find out if I go to Swanson. The next day I ask them, so how was your night?
Mm-hmm.
You're sure you got lunch covered?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I would call ever so often and say, my question to you is, how is your body feeling?
Mm.
We lost a young sub-lieutenant in the Coast Guard quite recently, and I know his dad very well.
Mm.
And I've called him at least twice. We speak about other things, but I called to find out, how are you feeling? How is your body feeling?
Yeah.
that is the part that I think people just drift away. But you need that support afterwards.
Yes.
And for a long time.
Yes, yes.
So if you call on me to do something like that, Mark, I will willingly do it.
Yes.
But
yes.
my major concern is we have seen a radical change. You know something, Mark?
Yeah, and we have one more. We have half a minute. Half a minute.
Final thing. I'm going to leave you on this. This can be the start of another one of your programs. We have not done any research as to what the COVID pandemic did to all people, or students, or adults, the psychological, the academic. And I am telling you here now, every student was pushed back by about 2 years. And I challenge anybody to come and tell me that I'm talking nonsense. But you know, we wanted to get back or tourism or tourist arrivals. Everything is to get the arrivals back to where they were pre-COVID. But I haven't been hearing anything. Let us get our students back to where they were.
Well, thank you so much, caller. Thank you, and for filling in what we left out tonight. Okay, I appreciate your call. Thank you, sir.
Martha, I'm overwhelmed the way in which you handle these cases.
Well, it's not. We have a team of people, a small team. We need more people, but I want to, as I
let me say you, the small team, but you're a lady of a big heart. And I'm going to say again, I said it before. God bless Marcy Weeks.
Thank you. So I received the blessings, and I take it on behalf of the team. It's always great to hear you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ma'am.
Yes. Wow, very insightful. It's always great to hear him. If I could just remind us before we close out tonight, I know that it's a different kind of a night, and I know my Bajan people, I know that this is tough for us, but my belief is that we're not going to do anything about it until we feel it. Until we feel it. And I want to be there for those children tomorrow who are coming. I heard that some of them even made their own shirts. They made shirts and so on. I want to be there. I don't know how I'm going. I think I'm wearing shades tomorrow. I don't know how. I don't know. But I know that we have to do this. We have to do it. I don't know how, but we have to do it, Barbados. We have to do it. It's hard, but we have to do it. We're going to hold each other up tomorrow. We're going to hold on to each other, and we are going to do it together. A good friend of mine sent a message. Dave, you can get that song ready. A good friend of mine sent a message, and I think I sent it to Dave, about parking for tomorrow, and I am looking for it now. And that's why, we don't know everything, and I'm glad that we have you guys that can teach us a few things and tell us a few things. And this person is saying that there's a playing field and a car park at Dighton Griffith. So we probably can go early, speak to the guard, and see if we can get people to park at Dighton Griffith. It's that close. I can't remember. Right. There's a playing field and car park there. Right. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. So folks, tomorrow at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we will see you at Kendall Hill gas station in our white. We are coming out. I believe the parents are going to be there based on what I understood. And we want to show solidarity with them. We want to stand with them. We want to be there for them. We are one Barbados. One Barbados. We come together, and we're mourning together. We're doing our stuff. We're doing it all together. And again, I want to thank you for those of you who are brave enough to join with me tonight, and to to stick it out, stick out the conversation tonight. Thank you. It's a tough one. And thank you for those of you again who joined. See you all tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, right there at the gas station. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye. Every morning you greet me, sun and bright, clean and bright. You are happy to meet me. Rush, rush, home, where you go and grow. You might grow every morning you greet me, small and bright, day and night. You are happy to meet me. So slowly you move and grow, grow.